I said shut up for 1 second.
All right.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Red Eye Games Live, part of the Rated M Gaming Network. You're probably watching it on the Rated M for Podcast channel. It is our 1 year anniversary today of the Rated M Network. Pretty stoked on that. So in celebration, we're doing 12 hours of streaming. You've been hanging out watching Drewstifer play a bunch of games, including Halo, Grand Theft Auto. Jez just like, look at this. Agent Bizzle here. What? Now I've lost my spot. And now we're gonna do a little video podcast called "Growing Up as Gamers," where myself, your host Rory, and my friends, guys, say what's up, introduce yourselves, go.
Jez Bonham.
Jez, how long have you been gaming?
Since I was 0 years old.
Wow, that's impressive. Ed, I already said your name.
Ed Derwin. I've been gaming since, I guess, realistically, 4 or 5 years old.
4 or 5 years old. Nice. John.
Hey guys, I'm John. I've been gaming since I was 3? Maybe a little before that, but yeah, I'd say 3.
I guess
Nice.
we give her ages to give us some sort of...
So that's since
No, too late now.
Since
Okay.
89.
Too late now.
There you go.
I don't have an age, I am an entity.
So we want you guys hanging out, though.
Good God.
We're going to get to some questions from viewers if you guys want, but talk amongst yourself, talk at us. We're going to try and reflect and review the chat here and keep you guys up to speed as well. But we're just going to chit-chat about growing up as gamers here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get it started, guys. I've been gaming a long time, just as you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having an Atari 2600 in the house. It wasn't like mine. I was too young. It was my parents', but it was there.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't theirs. It was a friend's. Who knows? But the Atari 2600 was in my childhood as a young child. But it wasn't until the NES. I remember getting it for Christmas. I believe it was '86, and I have a distinct memory of getting that first console. Like that's when I really kind of like got into gaming. It got its hooks into me right from that very first game, which I remember as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mario, it was Super Mario Brothers with the Duck Hunt combo
course.
cartridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember opening that thing up at
Backhands.
Christmas, and I had to have a shower and get cleaned up first before we did all this stuff, so I did it. Stayed in my towel, you know, I was like 4 years old or something like that, and I sat down. The TV was one of those big Granadas that sat in like a wood box on your floor,
Love
essentially,
those.
right?
Love those.
And I just sat down. My dad hooked it up, you know, as all dads do. It takes them forever to do anything simple. The hockey net takes all day and such. But he finally got the NES hooked up, and I sat there, got videotape of my, from my mom, handy camming it, with me sitting there, my towel undone, with my little fucking like 4-year-old butt just there, and I'm in it. And that was it. That was it. From that moment on, man. From that moment on, I was like, I love this. I love playing these video games. So my question to you guys is, after that long ramble, when did you like? What was the first console? Like, do you have a memory of getting that first console? Maybe it was PC gaming, but whatever it is, like, do you have that memory of that first day with your first console and what was the game? Jez, I'm going to you first.
Yeah. First off, hopefully no one turns this on out of context and just hears 4-year-old butt.
Yeah, it just popped up in the chat right now. 4-year-old butt. All right, there you go.
Uh-oh.
But
Good start.
definitely remember. Yeah, it was TurboGrafx 16.
Whoa, you had
Oh!
Okay, let's label him now as Rich Boy.
TurboGrafx.
You're the first person I've met who's actually owned one.
Oh yeah, I
I
owned
know,
one.
yeah.
Would get new games all the time. That shit was ridiculously expensive.
It wasn't quite at the Neo Geo level, which
It
was
was
like
close,
arcade perfect ports, but it was like it was up there.
It
Wow.
was like $700 or some crazy
It was
shit
a
like
lot.
that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And each game was expensive as well. And they looked super cool, the games. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. But
Oh yeah, we know what
TurboGrafx-
you're talking about. Bonk's Adventure on TurboGrafx looks so much
Bonk's
better than
Adventure,
Bonk's
yeah.
ported to anything else.
Yeah, and Bonks. That's what I was about to talk about. That's
Nice.
the first game
Yeah.
that I ever played.
Really?
And I beat it
Wow.
probably...
That you ever played?
Yeah, I beat
That was it.
That was it.
Oh shit.
I probably beat it every day. I would beat it every single
Dude, you're
day.
fucking hardcore.
Wow.
And I would have dreams. Every single night I'd have dreams about Bonks, man.
Woo!
I couldn't sleep.
Every night.
I'd wake up on the floor.
Were you ever like were you ever bonk in your dreams?
No.
Like just like a little
Oh,
Jez
yeah,
with a giant bong head?
No, I wasn't,
Yeah.
but yeah, that'd be pretty dope. But yeah, TurboGrafx 16. Yeah, I never had any Nintendo consoles ever.
Ever to this
I
day.
went from TurboGrafx straight to Sega Genesis, Sega CD, Sega Saturn.
Sega Kid, let me just give you a high
Yeah,
five
man.
right there.
Wow.
Woo!
I wanted a 64 so badly.
Right.
Oh, Lord have mercy. But my parents would not give me
Lord
one.
have mercy.
They would not give me one. And Yeah, man, it's TurboGrafx 16. You know, they had so many sick games. They had a Jackie Chan game. Oh, man.
I remember the Jackie Chan game.
it
I
was
never
good.
played that, though.
Yeah, I could not beat that game. There was some very difficult arcade games that were ported that had some scary games. Can't remember the name of all those games because I have beer brains. I am hungover. But
yeah, disclaimer: the guy with the shades on in the middle of a beautiful Sunday afternoon is hungover.
What was the TurboGrafx game where you're dressed like a guy who looks like Freddy, and it was like a slasher, like a side-scroller fighting game?
you were Freddy.
You were Freddy?
They had Friday the 13th. I think that wasn't on TurboGrafx though. But yeah, there was a Freddy game, but I never had that game.
Okay.
I'd only select games, and there was also one called China Warrior. I could never beat that game.
China Warrior. Why couldn't you beat that game?
I mean, old school games, right?
Yeah, that's true.
hard,
That's
yeah.
true.
Oh, Bloody Wolf. Bloody Wolf.
Oh!
That game and Bonks were the two best games ever for TurboGrafx 16.
That one I don't know. Do you guys know Bloody Wolf?
No.
It's two player.
I'm trying to think if I did play that one. I did
Somebody
play a
tell
bunch
me.
of TurboGrafx.
Did you? That's
did.
one of the consoles. Like I've owned a lot of consoles over the
Yeah.
years. TurboGrafx is one of the ones though, one of the few that like I actually didn't personally own. So I missed out a lot on like, all the
Yeah.
exclusive like TurboGrafx games.
Yeah.
Did you have a Jaguar, Jess?
No.
That's another one of those like fabled, legendary
Yeah.
consoles.
I had that one thing that put like the one eyepiece over your face, whatever the hell that was. I had that too. but-
What?
Yeah.
What is that? Well, wasn't that part of like 3DO or something? Like,
It was like everything was red. I can't remember. It was like the
What
very
was it?
first Virtual
well, they
Boy.
had the
I think it was called
Virtual
Virtual Boy.
Yeah, the Nintendo. It wasn't one
Yeah,
eye. That was like
it was a one eye thing
There
though.
was
No.
a one eye thing that I did.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did have that.
I remember that.
I had a lot of things.
elite.
No question.
All right. Okay, Ed. That the good stuff, man.
That was
TurboGrafx
good
is
stuff.
fun. All right, Ed. When did you first get into it? What was the first console? Do you have a memory of that day getting it? Was it a Christmas? Early games? Let's hear.
Well, gaming came in waves for me because I'll give it a rundown. I just started thinking about it, but probably the first console I played, I don't have any memory of it, was a ColecoVision because I went over at some family friends, and they always had the new games. And they had a ColecoVision. I don't remember playing that one, but I remember the first game that really, like you, Super Mario Brothers and NES. I remember playing the NES for the first time. It was groundbreaking. Like, it really was. It just blew my mind. So that was the first console I played. The first console I got. Keep in mind that actually my family got a PC at that point, so I did get a little bit of PC gaming.
All right, keep that in mind, everybody.
A little
Just,
bit of PC.
keep it
So
in mind.
Again, like I was saying, there's waves, right? Before this, obviously, I've been in arcades, all that. First console I ever received, still great memory, was the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
I had to pick one. Me and my brother were debating it. Super Nintendo obviously was a great console, but we're partial to sports games, and Sega had the Sonic. The Sonic was just on fire at that point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sonic wasn't a launch game. Do you guys know that?
No, it wasn't.
No,
You're right.
It wasn't.
did not know that.
Sonic
Yeah.
came out a year into the console's life cycle.
I know. I knew that, yeah.
Sorry, continue.
No, anyway, I had Genesis, and it was still great memory, and the pack-in was Sonic 2, so
Nice.
you can't really get much
Good
better than
pack-in.
that. It was a great pack-in.
That
It was.
arguably
It
a lot
was
of
awesome.
a lot of
Great
people
game.
like hold that one up there as like their
Oh, yeah.
favorite Sonic game. Like
Easily.
I'm a little torn on that. Like for me, I think like I really liked Sonic CD, except for I feel like the perspective he
Yeah.
was too far in the middle of the screen when on a
Yep.
flat plane for some
Yep.
reason. There wasn't enough headspace to
Right.
it.
Agreed.
And I really enjoyed Sonic and Knuckles and the backwards
Yeah.
compatibility
Yes.
and like going back to just the fact that cartridge
Yes.
allowed you to put Sonic 2 like on
That's
top
amazing.
of it.
And you can play
then, I know
Knuckles.
you had cartridges stacked on top
Yeah.
of each other.
I remember renting that game. My mom was like, "Do you know you can do that?" I was like, "Yeah, I knew you could do that." And she's like, and she couldn't believe it. She's like, "Wow, like really? Like that wasn't anything. I mean, it was special, but it wasn't like they were doing anything complex. Well, I'm sure they were, but like it was a very singular idea. But it was just impressed people that much that you could put an new character in the old game. It was like,
Yeah.
blew
It was
people away.
it was nuts. Ed, I want you to
Yeah.
continue, guys. Let's just say what's up to everybody in the chat right now.
Yeah.
Rancid was tuning in saying for him it was his 4-year-old self getting an N64 and being blown away by
wow.
Ocarina
That's-
of Time.
That's a great start.
Right?
Wow.
That's it. That is a good start.
Yeah.
Sonic Adventure 2 was a favorite of his as well. So Dreamcast, right?
All right.
Oh,
I
man.
wish I had a Dreamcast.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
it's up there when I talk about my favorite consoles of all time. So Dreamcast
Yeah.
often gets thrown in the mix, despite its basically like 1 year, 2 year lifespan.
Knights,
Yeah.
baby, Knights.
Night? Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about Xbox, like you play that on Knights of the Old Republic?
No.
Knights.
Nights into Dreams.
Knights into
Oh,
Dreams.
Knights into Dreams,
Yeah.
Sega Saturn. That's where that like
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
sorry.
so dope.
You threw me off because Dreamcast.
That's what I do. That's what I'm here
That's
for,
what
man.
he's there for. Ed, continue.
I mean, really, that was, my first console, and then I did get into PC gaming. My parents got like a relatively high end for the time, 1990 kind of PC through my dad's work, and I remember they gave us a Batman game when we bought the computer, and I just freaked because the guy was just.
What was the Batman game on the computer?
I know it. It's I can't remember exactly what it was called. I think it was like The Adventures of Batman, or kind of a throwback to it was a very kind of. It would be.
All right, didn't mean to put you on the spot, Ed. I
No,
can see
no,
it's like
I-
a bead of sweat is
I
coming
can't
out.
find it.
Oh my
I-
god, you want me to explain this?
Oh,
Shit.
you would walk. We couldn't figure it out, and I was just so frustrated. And my mom finally installed it properly, and you would walk, and a new pop-up panel would come up. Like you would be going. It always just like rah, rah, and then by the time you'd be playing the game, there'd be like 9.
I have no idea what you're talking about anymore.
There was a
Also,
panel. You would always.
Why
do a
couldn't
panel.
you set anything up? Why did your mother have to set everything up?
I was 5 years old.
No excuse.
No,
Come on,
it's
man.
literally 5 years
Come
old.
on,
That's why you
man.
could not install the game.
Get out of here.
This
Come on,
isn't
man.
the old put it in.
You're
It's
five- you're
we're
5
talking
years
about
old,
MS-DOS, man.
Hang on, guys.
What is-
I've been watching John be blown away for the last
Why
30
does Sonic
seconds.
have a gun?
That's not Sonic. That's Shadow.
Come
What
on,
is-
man.
No,
You know the franchise
You know
has gone
the
downhill.
Sonic.
Shadow's badass, man. Yeah, you're saying you know the franchise has gone downhill. This is like 1990 right here. It's
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
Or 2000, give or
Well,
take.
yeah,
Shadow.
I'm
Yeah,
exaggerating a
true.
little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyways,
Ed, good start, man.
Yeah.
John,
Take it.
let me know, man. Earliest console games
Okay,
that
so
stood out to you. Let's
it
hear
was kind of a progression. So my parents had a Commodore 64 when I was a kid. Like they got it before I was born.
Nice.
Yep.
And so my mom kind of taught me basically how to use it. And like to load a game, you put in the 5 and a quarter, 3/4 floppy.
Yeah.
And you had to type like, this isn't what it was, but it was something like it was a command line and then like dot star x star dot. Like it was a really weird kind
Working
of
in the DOS system, right? Like,
No, it was
oh,
before DOS. It was his own kind of language.
Okay,
and like
yeah.
you didn't just pop in a disk and hit run. You had to type in a weird set of code.
It's funny because I had a Commodore 64 and I remember playing Need for Speed on it, but I don't remember
What?
doing.
Really?
Yeah, it was called Road and Track at the time.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it's called Road and
Yeah.
Track
Yeah,
Presents,
yeah.
right? And it was like, but I don't remember anything tough about it. I remember popping it in and doing my thing.
Yeah, there was. I mean, it wasn't hard. We just had the one line, but it was like it wasn't intuitive. So
Right.
my parents had that, and so we had a Batman game that crashed at the end of the first level. So I only played that game.
Same Batman game, maybe.
I don't know. It was based off Michael Keaton movie, so it had like the Batman movie logo on the front, and it was like mainly blue. It was weird. Impossible Mission, which was notable because when you
I
start,
was like, that sounds familiar.
yeah, exactly. When you start the game, there's this digitized voice that like blew my mind as 3-year-old. Like the computer's talking to you, and
Right.
it goes, "Stay a while, stay forever."
Oh.
You're like, ah!
And did you?
And you could never beat it. It was really hard. But we had a flight game called Raid Over Moscow, which the first level is your little character walks over to the ship, and you have to pilot your ship out of the hangar. And then it was like a Zaxxon style isometric shooter after that. But I could not fly the plane out of the hangar, so I get my dad to come do it for me, and then I would do the next level.
Your mom, your dad. What the
So,
hell, man?
so that's where it started. And then when I was about 4, we got a Nintendo. And
I'm surprised John Sordians are like, well, it all began when my parents hooked up.
so, okay,
my
so-
dad hooked
Even
up.
as a seed, I was thinking about TIE fighters and X-Wings.
So we got the Nintendo, and it was a Super Mario Duck Hunt pack-in, which was fine. And we had friends who had Nintendo, so we played games. But the kind of where it clicked for me, when it all was like, this is what I want to do, was it was at Toys R Us, and mom was like, you could pick out a game for your birthday or whatever it was. I was like 5. And looking through the shelf of games, and there was Mega Man 3.
I looked over when you pointed. I actually looked.
It's over there. And I'm like, Mega
There it
Man 3. So that's my game. And I took that home, and the first level is Snake Man. And that was the game that kind of blew my mind, that there was like...
Wait, the first
So-
level you chose was
Exactly,
Snake Man.
say,
Yes, the first level I chose was Snake Man. You're very right. And
This
that
is
was-
Rated M for Rated M's 1-year anniversary. You're at Red Eye Games Live, part of the Rated M Gaming Network. We don't fuck around here. You say it right. You say it right, John.
Sorry.
Oh, get out of here.
Yes.
You know what? It is the first level
Street
because
cred.
that's the easiest boss, and he gets you the best weapon
But
after.
there's no ever first level.
Well,
in Mega
actually,
Man
well, no,
game.
Ed, you're both right.
We're both
You're
right.
both right. You can choose whoever you want. You guys watching know that, but there is indeed a pattern. Those who
There
know
is.
the bosses to beat in order,
Yeah.
Sonic 3.
know to destroy.
That's 2.
There you go.
Oh.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Mega Man 3 was the game that kind of like,
Guaranteed.
because it was
I own
just
that
it was
one.
leaps and bounds
Yeah,
so
two
much
series,
more than
I
like
remember.
Mario and anything else I had played at that point. It was like, this is
Vector
what
Man.
gaming can be like. This is amazing,
Everything.
and that's where it all kind of
Yeah.
clicked
Very cool
for me.
Fucking
It's Mega
awesome.
Man 3.
So everybody's like, I mean, we're all going back now, right?
Good
We've
range.
all been gaming for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let's catch up with the
It's in my
chat
blood.
and see what these guys are saying right now. Rance was saying he played the GameCube version of something. I can't remember. Oh, Sonic Adventure 2, right? Rated M for podcast. I'm assuming that's Drucifer right now. He's saying as a kid playing Doom, it was a revolutionary
Yes.
experience.
Yes.
Loading
yeah,
all
no
those floppy
question.
disks like 5 or 6 of them
Yep.
bitches. Drew. Oh, it is.
I had
Drew.
I had Wolfenstein 3D,
Oh, dude, that was one of my
Yeah.
early like
Great
PC
game.
games as well.
which my mom didn't like us having, so we had to kind
No.
of hide it.
and Duke Nukem as well. And
Yeah,
yeah.
Duke
How about Commander Keen?
Dave,
yeah.
Dave Warren, guys, aka Admiral, is saying his first was the Atari 7800 with a ton of pirated 2600,
Nice.
5200. So even from a young age,
Dave Warren,
Good
the pirate.
boy, good
Dave
boy.
the pirate.
Hey,
Arr, matey.
hang on, Dave. If you know this, let me know the name of the game because I don't remember. I had a friend who had, I think it was a 56 or 7200 Atari, and it was a game where it was like giant ants were attacking, and it was like kind of a strategy / role playing game. So you had to like fight off these giant
Rings a
ants,
bell,
but there was
yeah.
also like a story about like building your town up to defend them. A friend of mine had it. Apparently it was really cool, but I only saw him play it once.
That rings a bell for sure.
Give a shout out to Drew. He's saying, show Red Eye Games some love and give him a follow. I agree, guys. If you like what's going on right now, this isn't what normally happens. But, you know, I host a lot of video game streams. I do trivias on Tuesdays. And we generally, you know, I try and bring people over and have a good time and mix it up a little bit. Do something a little different when I can. A lot of the time, it's exactly the same as everybody else. But today it's not. Red Eye Games Live and the Red Eye Gaming Network celebrating the 1-year anniversary. I'm happy to have my friends here talking about growing up as gamers.
Who's Admiral? That's Dave?
Hell yeah.
Admiral is Dave right
yeah,
there.
Mega Man 3 is awesome.
I think Mega Man 2 is technically a better game, but 3 is my favorite. 3's got a soft
Definitely.
spot.
Mega Man,
I can see
first and
pack
foremost.
leaders asking, is he about to start Halo 3? I think that's because Drew is hosting us, and his Twitch channel probably still is Halo 3.
Come on, Drew.
I had a Game Gear.
You had a Game
I had a
Gear?
Game Gear.
I had a Game Gear,
Dang,
too.
I didn't have a Game
It
Gear.
took like 300 batteries.
That's what I heard.
Sorry.
And it died in a day.
Pack
in like
leader,
half a day.
we're gonna be going for
2
another
hours.
like
That's what I
40
heard.
minutes
But I don't
roughly.
give
We're
a
gonna be
shit,
just
'cause it was
talking about
color.
growing up as
And I
gamers
played
and stuff
Sonic
like that.
on the fucking road.
That's
Yeah,
Bring
I
a
had-
battery pack with you.
So I
And you're good.
had the Game Gear. I had Sonic 2. It was the pack-in game.
Yeah.
It took 6 AA batteries, and it ate through
Uh-huh.
that in maybe like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh my
Yeah.
So
god!
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got it for Christmas, and
Dude.
we had the car adapter.
It was awesome.
So it's like
Yeah.
Chris-
Gear?
Oh,
It's-
yeah, dude. It
My
was awesome. It
Christmas
was awesome.
day, and I'm sitting in the car in the garage with the AC adapter plugged into the car battery, so I could play the game because we ran out of batteries.
Right.
And then you killed the car.
I did.
I wanted to love the Game Gear. My
Oh.
problem with it was like in comparison to Game Boy, which I guess
Battletoads!
maybe because my eyes just weren't quite used to like the color on a handheld screen like that, going from Tiger stuff into the
Yeah.
Game Boy stuff. But I always found like when it was still right, like one of the first Game Gear games I played was a game called Rystar, and when it's still. Like, it's gorgeous. Like Sonic. You're like, whoa, colors in my hands on this thing, and I could put a TV remote on the top, essentially, to do Sega TV, right?
That's right.
So, but the problem was, at the moment I started walking, I found all the colors and stuff, like, kind of, like, blurred together.
Blurred,
And
yep.
I was like,
But Sega, we gotta give a shout out to Sega.
I do. Hey,
Oh, no, hey,
I
they
grew up-
made-
They were always ahead of the curve, and it came to bite them in the ass. That was what happened.
It totally was.
That's what
That, well, the problem
Well-
it wasn't just that they were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
I'll admit that like Dreamcast was well ahead of the curve. Like,
Yeah.
that thing, people
But
weren't
the-
ready for that. But
I know.
the
Ant
problem,
Attack,
the,
maybe.
the problem with Sega really in the late '90s, going into the 2000s and such, was that, in my opinion, they were kind of abandoning things that weren't successes right away, and it became oversaturation of hardware. It was like
Yes.
every year it was like Sega CD, then the 32X, then the Sega Saturn.
It's true.
Oh, it's
Way
not
too
working.
much.
Now it's
It's true.
Dreamcast.
Way
And
too
by the
much.
time they got
It's
to the
true.
Dreamcast,
No,
which
it's
was
true.
actually a phenomenal fucking machine.
It was, yeah.
Totally.
But everyone knew, 6 months down the road?
Yeah,
Maybe it was a year.
But
No,
you
it's
know
a
what,
year.
though, but you
Everyone
gotta
knew
think
this
about
PS2 was
though.
coming, man.
I know they
The-
did.
the-
It was a
everyone
terrible
knew.
time to launch.
Exactly.
Timing is so
Well,
important.
you again though, you guys say like everybody knew PS2 was coming. But the thing is, like, we live in a bubble, right? We talk a lot about this on Rated M for Podcast and Game Over Man, which is another podcast I am. Is that us as gamers, like, we live in this bubble a little bit, right? Where it's like we check out E3 coverage, we knew all this, so there is a good chunk of people that know this is
Right.
coming. But the greater market is kind of oblivious to a lot of that stuff. We'll see commercials a month or so ahead.
I
but-
think though, just the hype behind the PS2.
Everyone
I think
knew, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think almost
Everyone
everyone knew that it was
Fair enough,
coming.
yeah.
The footage was out. It was amazing.
'Cause that was-
Like
I remember-
commercials. It was TV back then. How it told us, right?
It was.
And
It-
so
it-
you knew you
exactly.
saw the commercials.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
and PlayStation had this thing where it's. I don't want to
You
say
knew you were
like,
getting the DVD player,
It didn't.
right?
It didn't.
Mhm.
It didn't ruin the scene in a sense, but there was one issue, one negative thing to the success of the original PlayStation, which I fucking loved, and that was solely that they had such a dominance on the market that everything else kind of like lacked as far as like third parties weren't even. It was before it was like it was before third party exclusivity was a big deal, kind of like it is today. You know,
Yeah.
like people hear
Sure.
third party
Yeah.
exclusivity today,
Yeah.
and they're like, shirts are ripping off.
Yeah.
They're signing petitions online. line with horrible grammar throughout that's never going to get pushed through.
Yeah.
But back in the day, that shit happened all the time. It happened with Nintendo because they had their rules in place about, you can only make quality software for us and nobody else. And then PlayStation, they didn't really have those rules implied. They were very loose with their rules, but the reality was it was such a success. They dominated when the PlayStation came out that a lot of third-party stuff became exclusive just by sheer fact that people were like, well, why are we going to make, like, we won't go PlayStation. Let's make a game for PlayStation.
Well, and it was also more powerful discs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made
Well,
sense to develop-
it wasn't really the power thing. It was the memory thing in the
memory,
space, right? Because
well,
yes.
I still think like the N64 compared to PlayStation got demolished as far as like sales and user base goes, right? It was really the start of Nintendo's slow.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Well,
and
Nintendo-
then
you gotta
Wii,
think
like-
with CD.
Nintendo though adapted, and now their first-party games is what sells in Nintendo.
Yes.
The
Exactly.
Mario World is what sells in Nintendo.
Yep.
It
And
does.
so all the rest of the games obviously are now on Xbox and PlayStation, but that's what happened is it could not compete with PlayStation.
No.
Even Final Fantasy went over because of the discs. They could make the full-length game that they wanted to make.
Well,
you
Final
gotta-
Fantasy 7,
You
which
got
is
you got to compare
amazing.
700 megabytes on a CD versus 32 megs on a cartridge for Ocarina of Time.
I know, it's nuts.
which
Yeah.
was bigger than the other cartridges.
I know, it's crazy.
And what you're saying about the third party thing, it's funny because we've kind of come full circle.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening with the Wii U,
Spyro.
where people don't
I
want to
like that
develop games for the Wii U
It's
because the
not-
install
okay.
base is so low.
It's a business, right? And games cost so much money to make these days that it's you can't like. There's no point in putting the resources. I want to just address the chat right now. Drew was saying Dead or Alive thought Dead or Alive was an Xbox thing from the start. I just jumped out of camera just to show you right now. PlayStation, Dead or Alive on the original PlayStation. There it is. Before Xbox was even out. There was actually a setting in this game where you can adjust the boob physics from like nothing to extreme.
Right, I remember
So
that.
you can move around and the tits are like
Oh,
clipping. They would clip the
man.
face like be
It's
up
the
there.
very first time people had
but
to
there
figure
it
out how to
is.
play with boners.
Exactly. Right?
Oh, where do I put the controller?
Well, the good thing is you
With the
game
DualShock
you
in
game
out.
sitting down though, right? That's the good thing.
Yeah.
You game
Yeah.
sitting down.
Some guys lay on their stomachs just in case.
I just want to talk about the Sega thing. I think part of the problem was that the Sega Saturn was a very powerful system, but
Fighting Vipers.
they underestimated the success of 3D that the PlayStation was seeing. So the Saturn was very powerful at doing 2D work, and it couldn't do 3D worth shit.
Yeah.
Virtua Fighter was kind of the only, like, I know they had more than this, but
Amazing
Virtua
game.
Fighter kind of sold the system as a 3D system, but it was underpowered. Like, physically how they built it was underpowered for doing hardcore 3D work. And that's what the PlayStation was ushering in, and N64 was the same way.
Yeah.
So Saturn was great for all the 2D stuff, and it just fell behind the market. And then when the Dreamcast came out, they figured it out. I remember walking into an EB, and they had Madden 2000 playing on the screen.
Yes.
And I'm like, is
Really
that TV? Is that
Well,
real?
I
It's
know.
amazing.
At the time,
and that
yeah.
was
You
and
know-
that was $9,999. That was September 9th, 99.
That was released. Yeah,
That's
that
when it
was
came out.
released.
And then the PS2 was October 26, 2000.
Yeah.
And then Dreamcast disappeared from our vocabulary
Yeah,
on
seriously.
October 27th.
Yeah, and it
Seriously.
sucks because for me, the Dreamcast game that made me go like, "Holy fuck!" Like right away was we're gonna get into it, and we're gonna wrap this up quickly. We're gonna get into talking about the arcade scene, and this brings this is a good leeway into it, really, a good segue into it. The first Dreamcast game for me that I went, "Damn, this is gonna be the death of the arcades." Was Soul Calibur 2 on Dreamcast, or Soul Calibur on Dreamcast.
Soul Calibur.
The first Soul Calibur on Dreamcast came out, right? And Soul Calibur was the sequel to Soul Edge, which was the original arcade game. And the Dreamcast version of Soul Calibur looked cleaner and crisper than the arcade version.
Really?
People
That's
bought
it.
Dreamcast just for that game.
Yeah, that's it. It was
Yeah.
that was the game that like there was a lot of great Dreamcast games, but it was seeing Soul Calibur on Dreamcast with its smoothed out edges and such, and then the arcades were still strong at the time. I'd go to the arcades and play, and I had that Dreamcast, so I went, damn, holy shit! I'd rather play for the first time ever. I was like, this is better for me. I do prefer standing up and having the sticks and having that guy next to you in the arcade with all the other sounds going. But that was the game
Yeah,
where I
but
went,
I hate
damn,
the people behind
this is
you.
it. Oh, you hate the people
I
behind
was
you?
like, get the fuck off me.
I do.
That was shit.
Man, that was like when Virtua Fighter, Mortal Kombat,
Yeah.
Tekken, all that came out. Like, that's the arcade scene, which we're going to get into right now. But that whole crowd around you, I loved it. We used to put our quarters down.
Really?
We'll save it. We'll save it right now, guys. That is my next question for you
All right.
guys. And for you guys out there, like, join in the conversation in the chat and such. Were you part of the arcade scene growing up? And if you were, do you have some favorite memories from it? Favorite games? Like, I grew up in the arcades. Like, I started with NES and such when I was a little bit too young to kind of hang out in the arcades. And but in my pre-teens and early teens, I was all over the arcade scene. I was in there the day fucking Mortal Kombat was plopped down for the first day.
Wow.
I remember loving Virtua Fighter and then spending 2 days straight basically in a GamePro magazine learning the Virtua Fighter movesets for a couple of my favorite characters.
To win?
To just to figure out the moves so I could play
Who
it
are your
properly.
favorite characters?
I really liked. They played very similar. They may have been father-daughter actually. It was the. Forgive me, guys. I'm forgetting the names. It was the chick with the ponytail, the Asian chick with the ponytail who did the Crazy Roundhouse. And she had the pink pants with the Chinese symbols down there.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been her father who also had the long hair and he had the green and yellow suit and very tiger style.
Yeah.
I'm making that up, tiger style. I don't know what the fuck.
I got it. Some type of cat.
But
Some type of large cat.
But they're my favorite. But the reality was, I remember at the time, Jeffrey was for some reason. I'm remembering this now. Was one of the guys I had learned moves for.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of, but I remember
Yeah.
that. But I go to the
Powerful.
arcade. The point of the story was, I went to the arcade. Right, my mom dropped me off. I'm excited. I had to change my bills into some tokens. I had $10. That was sort of like my allowance for a couple weeks. Basically, I was like, yeah.
$10 is coins, yeah.
$5 a week or something. I was like, yay! But tokens, I got these tokens. You get 3 tokens per $1, right? Not 4. So that's how they get you on the coin system. But I remember running around. I was like, where the fuck is Virtua Fighter? It's gone. I can't find it. I go ask the attendant because I'm only kind of looking in my cone vision of where it should be, right? Where it's been for months. I'm like, dude, where's fucking Virtua Fighter? Nobody was playing because everybody was playing Mortal Kombat and shit. So I used to love it. He's like, oh, dude, it's gone. I'm like, fuck. But we just got in Virtua Fighter 2. And I was like,
That's the
what?
game.
And nobody was fucking playing it. And it was
That's the
sitting
game.
there. And that was it. And I got up to Virtua Fighter 2 and went, holy fuck. It's such a jump over what Virtua Fighter 1 was.
Yep, cool.
And I sat there forever, man.
Same fighting mechanics, though, which is
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Exactly. So a lot
Which
of
is
the
good.
moves I had
Yeah.
learned, I was like, I could still use these.
I used to play as Wolf just because he was Canadian. He fucking sucked.
Yeah.
I used to play as him, and I got my ass kicked.
He was technical.
Fuck.
Oh, exactly. That's
The
thing.
drunken motherfucker, though, he's good.
The
Yeah,
drunk, the
I
drunken
just fall
guy was
down
really
and get
good.
back up. Like, kick you.
The drunken guy was
Exactly.
really good.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with the fighting games back in the day too, and today, right? The ones that most of us tend to suck with, because we might be decent at these games, but we're not like the pro level fighting guys, right? And most of the characters that I find that I'm like, I'm not a big fan of that character. It's purely out of the fact that I know it's too technical of a character for me. Like I like characters. For me, especially growing up with Street Fighter and such, and Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat uses a lot of back and forth tapping and such, but I'm all about if I'm a Street Fighter guy, if I had to pick my difference, there's the hold back and forward command characters, or there's the half circle, quarter circle characters. I'm all about the half circle, quarter circles, and the Dragon Punch movements. Like that's mine. Pounding it.
Me too.
So did you guys grow up in arcades then? Do you have a favorite game, a favorite memory, something? Jez, let's hear from you.
Not really, actually, to be honest. I did not grow up much with arcades. Sadly.
Fair enough.
Maybe I'm too young. I'm not really too young, but yeah.
No.
Okay. You know what? I'll tell you why I didn't. Because I grew up in a town called Revelstoke, BC,
Yeah.
and you had to go out of town just to buy video games,
Yeah.
period. I had to go drive to the nearest big town to buy the TurboGrafx. We'd be like, fuck, it's time to go get some games! So we'd stock up.
But first, we gotta get gas!
Oh man, yeah. Me and my brother would just be like sitting there like, oh my god, I can't wait to play this game. Can't wait to play this game.
Right.
But you know what though? Playing my Game Gear for half the way fucking home, or like playing Battletoads, fucking Battletoads. That game was dope. First off, and I would always die. Okay, yeah, I'm digressing here, but here, let me get back to the yes. Okay, I didn't play many
I digress.
arcade games. However, when I did go to the big city, maybe that's why I had such a hard time playing them because I
New York, New York!
Yeah. It's the biggest city. It's like fucking 30,000 people, man. I had a hard time. I couldn't stand these little bastards behind me, waiting to get on the thing.
That's part of the experience.
And so, but the game that I would love playing was always The Simpsons.
This guy. Yeah. Oh, the
Yes.
Simpsons.
Yes.
And man,
Simpsons
oh,
Arcade. Great
if I
game.
got stuck though with Lisa, man, I was so pissed. I hated Lisa. I still hate Lisa.
I love
She's
being
the
Marge
worst
with the
part of
vacuum
it.
cleaner.
Yeah, Marge was good. Homer was funniest because anytime he get hurt, he was comical. Everyone wanted to be Bart because he had a fucking skateboard. But that game was amazing. And then
I like Marge
Jurassic
with a
Park.
vacuum cleaner.
Any
man.
games where you had a gun? Oh man, alive.
Man
What's that
alive.
game? I think Sega made it where you shoot zombies. What the fuck is that called?
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead.
Yeah.
Now, that
Woo!
game was dope. That game in Jurassic Park And
Yes,
you
I
know-
love the Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Time
Lost
Crisis, Time
World.
Crisis.
Okay.
Time
Yeah,
Crisis.
the Jurassic Park when you
So
actually
cool.
sat inside
Yeah,
that little
yeah.
thing.
Oh my God,
remember?
yeah.
And you're like,
So like this is
Awesome.
like in like I'm talking like way after like like when people were first going to arcades. Like I'm talking way later, but like when I first started going, it was the Simpsons game, and kids like the older kids would always budge in front of me and not let me play and shit.
Right.
So I hated it. But yeah, so I wasn't a huge arcade guy. That's why I'm a huge console gamer.
Right.
Huge, because I'd get a console, take it home to Revelstoke, then I play it, and
Right.
I play the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And nobody knows Bloody Wolf. Look it up. It's one of the best games ever. Anyways.
Bloody Wolf. I keep thinking
For
Bloody
graphics.
Roar. You
I
know?
keep
Right.
thinking Golden Axe
No,
for some reason.
it's
'Cause you turn into a wolf.
It's a overtop. It's a over like
Like Gauntlet style?
like a bird's eye view.
Yeah.
Okay, so like
Um,
Gauntlet, yeah.
Run around like third. Like you're shooting. It's a military game. It actually reminds me a lot of Metal Gear,
Okay.
Okay.
except
Cool.
there's no espionage.
Right.
Okay.
It's like it's
Just
Metal
straight
Gear
up.
without the espionage.
Oh, so it's kind of
And
like, almost like Narc.
it cuts to the screen of people like talking, like the colonel comes up, the same exact thing, except that it's like a running gun, like but
cool.
with bird's eye view. Anyways,
Nice.
it was awesome. It was awesome. But yeah, so I sadly don't have a huge arcade experience, but those were my favorite. I didn't enjoy going to arcades, even though I did. I loved them, but I hated them at the same time.
You're breaking my heart.
You know what? I used to have anxiety issues.
Oh.
And
my
why do you
God.
think I'm wearing glasses? What's up, y'all? No, you'll never see my face again. You'll never see my face again.
Man of mystery here.
Anyway, so I wouldn't. I'd be like the guy like watching nervously. Is it my turn yet? I'm too scared to tap on this guy's
dude,
shoulder.
man.
Please let me play.
I used to
let me
love
play.
that stuff. I remember when Mortal Kombat 2 dropped in the arcade. I mean, lineups, right? But the arcade scene in the mall that I grew up around, everybody was like really good. It was like one of those cool arcades where every now and again you get a riffraff and somebody in there. But for the most part,
Yeah.
it was like a lot of like people that you saw every day or on weekends, and a lot of people the same age. And when Mortal Kombat 2 hit, like basically it was like foosball or pool in a sense, where it's
Right.
like there'd be a line of people, everybody would be like piled around watching because winner stays,
Mm.
and people
Right.
would have their
Oh,
quarters,
I like that.
quarters.
I like that.
People would
Right.
have
Yeah,
their
that's
quarters
how it works.
lined up, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like it would get so busy that we would actually start pumping in quarters. But how respectful and like organized everybody was in this arcade, it would be like. You could go in and be like, okay, I know I'm 8 quarters away. You could go play another game, and when your quarter came up, because people were paying attention, they would like shout at you.
Mm.
And I remember this is
That's cool.
the very first time I went to play Mortal Kombat 2. I had my quarters lined up, and I was probably anywhere from like 5 to 10 in line kind of deal. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play another game. And because of this game, I missed my chance. I gave up my first quarter to play Mortal Kombat 2. It was Virtual Racing from Sega. I was sitting there and I was in the middle of a race, and it was when the
Yes.
early polygonal stuff was like
Yes.
really coming out, and Virtual Fighter and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there playing this game, and I'm really enjoying it. And they were like, Rory, it's your fucking turn. And I must have been, 10, 12, maybe 13, 14.
Yeah.
It's hard to, I can't remember exactly the year. Early 90s, right?
It's a big age gap.
I know, it's huge. I was between the ages of 5 and 80 at the time. But yeah, I remember them shouting over to me, and I was like, can't do it! And I kept playing Virtual Racing.
Well, you can't leave the middle of your game.
No.
No, but this was more like it was like the first few days of this like cabinet
Wow.
being there. Like I'm talking like early. Like that's the arcade scene that I grew up in when Killer Instinct dropped. Like I was there
Right.
those first few days. And Killer Instinct, I swear to God, Rare at the time, and their sound chips, their volume control, whatever they did, they purposely made that game louder than every other machine in the arcade.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I swear to God, man, and I'm this is just an opinion, like from my experience. There's
I would
no
second
fact
it.
behind
I
this.
would second it.
But that machine came in. Killer
Yeah.
Instinct came in the arcade, and I love the arcades for the blending of the audio and all these sounds I would hear from every machine and
lights.
tinkering and a
Yeah.
low light. But then out of nowhere, it doesn't matter
Pop.
it didn't matter what corner you were in the fucking arcade, you would just hear Ultra Combo, and people like ah! And I swear to God, Rare was like, we need to make this game really stand out, not only with its fighting mechanics, but just in the scene, surrounded by Street Fighter 2, surrounded by Mortal Kombat 2, surrounded by Virtua Fighter, Tekken 2, I think may have dropped around that time, or at least Tekken was out, and they were like, we gotta just make sure that everybody can hear us no matter where we were. So if they had like their volume set to what everything else was, it was by default louder. And this is just like, I have no facts to back this up, but that fucking arcade game was so goddamn
Man, you were
loud.
high on
No,
Coke and
it-
Sprite, man.
No, I swear to God, that arcade
You know what?
machine was so much louder than everything else.
If winner stays on a fighting game, then you know Ed ain't staying.
Most likely not.
How
However,
guys, Drew's bringing something up that I asked the chat a question and never read the answers, and he's giving me a laugh. So let me know what I missed, because I'm just rambling on here all night, guys. What was the question I asked? Did you grow up in the arcades? I'm looking for my question, which is stupid because my question would not be in the chat.
no.
Old school X-Men, you guys are.
It's
you know
because
what?
we're having too much fun.
I
man.
know we're having a lot of fun hanging out right now. Let's take a second, guys, and catch up with the chat. Let's scroll up on the rated M.
Dave mentioned the fairy, which is
Drew's gonna eat.
I remember
Okay,
that
that's good.
commercial.
Whoopa whoopa, show him some love. We got that. Arnie's
Rampage
in the house.
Arcade was awesome.
Ranger saying at M for podcast, the music though, which is now ended. So if you hated the music that was playing, it is no more. It is just the sultry tones of our voices. Nerds. Anytime I yell out nerds, I instantly think of that Homer scene in the car leaning out. You guys know what I'm talking about.
The guy's like, "Excuse me."
never go to college.
Dread, I don't know if you're still
That's
hanging out, but I
right
saw
there.
that you popped in. Welcome, Dread. Rancid's still hanging out. Admiral's in the house. There was no Chuck E. Cheese anywhere where you were. Closest you had was Rutgers or Johnny Z's.
Talking about me?
Johnny Z's.
I never heard of
Okay,
it.
Johnny
I think
Z's.
just going out of town and playing arcades and such
Oh,
at the time,
oh,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
And,
yeah.
man, we didn't have a Chuck E. Cheese where I grew up either, but we had one outside of the town, and I remember being okay, but it wasn't my arcades. Like, Guelph at the time where I grew up had 3 arcades, and they all kind of competed with each other, and they were all good. And then when that scene died, that was it. Like, it just went to hell, man. It was crazy. It was like
Yeah.
overnight. Like,
Yeah, it was
a competing arcade opened up. It was better than the one I had always gone to called the Aerodrome. Aerodrome started losing games and not keeping updated while the Cave started getting better and better and better. And then once the Cave basically shut down Aerodrome, the Cave got shittier and shittier and shittier, and that was it. And that was around the time, again, of the Dreamcast. And
No,
all
you
that
can't
stuff.
compete with console gaming when it's better. Or just as good.
Yeah.
Well, why would you pay money to play games when I can play the game a million times?
No, but
in
you know
my
what?
own house.
But you know what it is? It is. It's like I miss it still.
Social.
Like I love like that. I've got these great, powerful
Well,
consoles.
that's true,
and
but
I
you
can
guys
game.
liked it. I never liked
It
it.
is for me. Like if there was a good arcade today, like I would probably go at least once a week on a weekend and pop in and like see some guys, you know, the regulars, and play some games and have some
Yeah.
fun. Because I love standing there. Like I would like to have an arcade machine here in the house where it's
Right.
like. Come on over, like I like that standing there with the trigger, your shoulder to shoulder,
Yeah, yeah.
and we can do that at home. But there's something different again about the atmosphere of an arcade,
Yes.
the smells, the sounds.
I like
you
I like
know?
the
The
ambient
farts-
sound
the
of all the
fart
other
smell?
games
A
combined.
lot of
Yes.
farts.
While you're playing your thing.
Yeah.
Just, you know what? You can't leave to farts. You have to fart at the game.
Dave's shouting out now saying that he used to play a lot of WWF Raw pinball on the ferry on the boat when black and black. I was speaking of the ferries back and forth between the islands here in Vancouver, I set the high score on the ferry Pac-Man.
Smash Brothers.
Really?
Yeah.
Now this
Go ahead.
game, I'm telling you right now, anyone out there, you will not beat me at Smash Brothers 64. No one will beat me at this game. No one.
Gauntlet thrown down.
All right, guys.
Alright.
If you want Jez's
Whoa.
online gaming information, make sure you check out Rated M for Podcast group on Facebook, and I will drop all that information in there later
Yeah.
today. You can holler at him on online on Wii U, wherever. Catch him on Twitter and give him a shout out and kick some ass at Smash Brothers.
I'll add your boy.
Here's
64.
Here's
only
here's
64.
by the way, guys, we're gonna play some trivia later, and I might have a game or maybe some $10 digital code for something towards your digital wallet for Xbox or something. Who knows? But guys, that commercial that just played. Do you remember the song that was playing at the opening of that
Yes.
commercial?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What
Yeah,
commercial
y'all
was
do?
it? Which one was it?
It was the Smash Brothers. Yeah.
No matter how we roll the dice. So happy together.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's also a record scratch.
Yeah.
Wait, is this Sports
And
Nightmare?
Pikachu getting punched by Mario or
It's
something.
like it is actually.
Okay, let's check it out. Acclaim. If you guys
There's the
follow
game.
my Red Eye Games channel, I actually did a Simpsons themed stream where I played a bunch of old retro Simpsons games. Okay, guys, let's talk. What time is it right now?
Should we get more arcades?
It's 1:46.
Oh, okay.
It's 1:46. We're gonna keep moving on. Everybody's been awesome though. They're chatting with each other and we're chatting. Wait, we all got the arcade chat?
No,
we
no,
didn't.
no.
We gotta go through it.
Start with Ed next time.
Okay,
I
let's
took
go.
too
Go,
long.
Ed, talk about arcades. Go.
Okay, so
Okay, good. Let's move on.
We're in.
if anyone knows where we are, we're in roughly the Vancouver area. We're in the middle of Vancouver. South of Canada is Washington, and there's a little community there called Birch Bay. And my grandparents, my grandparents had a...
My parents, no, my
grandparents.
No.
They had a trailer in the little kind of trailer, nice kind of little, community home kind of thing, right? So they would go there for the summers and enjoy their Birch Bay summers.
My grandparents did the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, they had an RV. They go down to Birch Bay.
It was pretty
There you
popular.
go.
That's it.
All right.
It was pretty popular in the area.
Birch Bay.
Birch Bay.
Marketing
So
account.
in Birch Bay, I'll never forget it. I'd pay any amount of money to go back there and recreate what they had and go in there. They had basically, it was right on the ocean front. They had two like giant double garages, just like I think basically like one little big shack, and it was the best arcade ever in there. It was massive in terms of arcade. They had it right away to walk in, and there's usually Street Fighter 2 right there, and then there was
Turtles
also
2?
Turtles 2,
Fighter
yeah.
2.
Yes,
Oh,
I remember this.
Yeah, and there was an awesome air hockey table, which for us in Canada was always a nice little physical treat. Exactly.
I was still always scared of my fingers, though. Don't hit it at me too hard. I'm gonna hit it you as hard as I can.
And there was always,
That's
to
funny.
me, there was
That's
always
funny.
like two tiers of real quick, of the air hockey. There was the ones that just it slid around, and there was the ones where you'd put the quarter in, and then and that air would come right up from the bottom, and
Yeah.
all the air vents, and the puck would just float, man. Man, that was fun.
How many times did you try just like crowd surfing?
Oh, yeah,
the air
exactly.
vents? Oh my god, I'm floating.
So we would go down there for summers with my grandparents and my grandpa. It would be like 7:30, 8 o'clock after dinner, and we'd kind of be nervous. Hey, can we go to the arcade? He'd go, yeah, sure. It'd be a 2-minute walk, and we were there, and it was just gaming heaven. It was so loud, and it was just so many games, and I just got introduced to so many. I would love it. Everyone would play Super Street Fighter or Super Street Fighter and all that other games and the popper games, but I would go
Super Street Fighter or Super
Super
Street
Street
Fighter.
There's other games, but like I would play the ones
You
that
either play
no
Super
one was
Street Fighter
playing.
or Super Street Fighter.
I would go play like 1942 and like little
Yeah,
old,
nice.
all those games that like no one was playing because I didn't want the pressure of anybody behind me. And I was young,
Okay,
right?
so it's the same as me then.
Yeah, but I was young. So I was like 5-6 year old. So I just experiment some games. Anyway, gaming in the arcades back in the early 90s and late 80s, you can't really describe it. Like it was this whole momentum, and
It was pretty awesome.
it was pretty odd. It was a party scene too. Like it was just cool. Like it was just a cool.
It's true. It was like a party scene for underage people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's exactly what it was.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So,
but no chicks, of course.
no chicks. Neither experiences.
I see you, Drew. We're coming right after. After Ed shares, we're gonna hit the chat, share their arcade stories, and then John,
sure.
you can wrap up your
All
arcade
right.
story.
Real quickly, we did play a ton of. We go to Victoria for the island, right? Because we're going to Vancouver Island, which Dave was talking about.
Nobody cares about Victoria Island.
No, or Vancouver Island.
That's what I call it.
The
Victoria
one
Island.
game I remember really stood out, and we played so much of, was the original X-Men 4-player.
Oh yeah.
It was
yeah.
such a great
You're right.
arcade game.
It was.
And
When-
it looked
it
so
was.
good for the
When
time.
you played
It
that in
was.
arcades,
It
like
was.
when I
Yes.
saw that game in arcades, it was actually two 4x3 monitors like together, kind of.
Yeah,
Like it had
that's
this weird widescreen presentation.
Yeah, exactly.
It did.
Exactly.
You,
You're right.
you guys remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
dude,
remember
yeah.
that. You're right. Totally right. For
That
sure.
game was sick.
great
Yeah,
game.
that was sick.
Great game.
It was good.
Gambit.
So yeah, arcades, they meant a lot to me. I'd still love to go back to, what they had in Birch Bay and that whole setup. I also, one last thing, I remember when it was like 95, 96, we went down there again, and the arcade was already closed. I showed you how quick I went, right? That was
Yeah.
like the hottest spot ever, and then by 95, 96, it was done. We went to this little corner store, and they had about 3 machines set up, and they had Mortal Kombat in there. And I put my brother, and he'd always kick my butt, because he's a bit older, and I was not very good at games, and Jeff was right. And I remember, but I was playing a Scorpion, and through some sheer of luck and just button mashing, I pulled off the get over here, and our minds literally blew. Like, we both just looked, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just
And
happened?
then through very careful reconstructive surgery, Ed is now able to be here today
Put it back
because
together,
they,
exactly. Yeah.
My head literally blew.
No, it was just that great moment where it was like, holy shit,
Yep.
that's something so different. First of all, this game looks better than Street Fighter. It's so real and just different, and then it's so violent, and we just saw this guy pull somebody by his neck, by his spike out of his... Like, yeah, I mean, it was
That's
so...
fucking-
No, it was.
So
It was
different.
intense. Like, it wasn't the first digitized game. Like, there was...
No.
I think there was things even beforehand, but the first
Yeah.
to me that I remember in arcade was Pit Fighter.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, the Mortal Kombat was that game, like, not long after Pit Fighter, where it was just like, whoa, holy
Yeah.
shit. They took their, like, graphic violence with what appears at the time to be, like, real people. It's pretty intense.
That game is only famous because of the graphic violence and
Mm.
and the crazy backlash it got, which exploded
Right,
the game's
yeah.
popularity.
It did.
Oh, of course.
Because
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, this is a simple fighter.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Uppercut,
Yeah, right.
kick, uppercut, kick,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, but
it
at the,
looks
same,
so cool.
at the
though.
same time, though, like, combos, like, weren't a huge thing, like, early, right? Like, Street Fighter
Yeah.
2 started some combos. Killer Instinct, like, was one of those
True.
early games that
Yeah.
really started,
True.
like, long combos, you know? And
Yeah.
then after, because that was just after MK2, and then Mortal Kombat 3, all of a sudden, what did that have? It had a run button, and pop, 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 up like a bunch of combos, and all of a sudden this combo thing really
Yeah.
started like
Yep.
taking on. There was always like punch kick combos and like little mix up and crossovers. But Killer Instinct really kind of just like all of a sudden was like, hey, now it's about long ass combos, and then you saw that in the next Mortal Kombat game.
And that's why
Let's-
Bushido Blade didn't work out.
A great game,
That was
though.
a great game.
Cutting down,
Great
fucking
game.
Guys,
bamboo shoots all day.
let's catch up with the chat right here,
All right.
and then we're gonna wrap it up with John's arcade talk.
I'll be quick.
Drew was going on about Cone Vision something. Anyway, Rancid Beast was asking, did you guys used to play the Simpsons arcade game, which we totally did.
Yes.
Oh,
And the Star Wars arcade game.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that was the. I'm assuming you're talking about the Vector Scope, like sit in it, and it was like wireframe doing the Death
Amazing.
Star run.
I don't think I ever have.
Oh,
Oh.
dude,
I think it was before my
haven't
time.
I put a lot of money in
Oh,
that
I
couldn't
game.
find it.
So good.
Put a lot, and Drew is giving me a hard time ignoring the chat for the win. The hell with that! Just kidding. I love you guys in the chat. It's hard. It's tough.
It
Right?
is
We
hard,
have a
man.
conversation going
Hey,
here.
Discussion.
What up, Drew?
What else do we have going on here? Admiral was saying we used to a lot of Raw. We played that. Who is this Jez? Maybe I'm looking at the wrong chat. No, just scroll up on the arcade.
Who is this, Jez?
I saw something.
Oh, Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter was
Oh,
awesome.
Spy Hunter was good.
Oh, yeah.
Spy Hunter's great.
Great game.
Yeah.
Not the new remake. the
Oh,
original.
Ransom
No,
was
no.
also saying he used to play a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom and
Yeah.
X-Men versus
Oh.
Street Fighter and
Fuck yeah.
Metal
Yeah.
Slug.
Great game.
Yes.
Metal
Metal
Slug.
I'll get to Metal
Yes.
Slug.
All
Yeah.
those three great games.
Drew was giving a shout out to the old X-Men. Yeah, we've got that.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
also saying that he played Time Killers on arcade. And the obscure Superman game that supported like 4 different colored Superman.
What?
I don't remember that at
I've
all.
never heard of that game. I'd love
Wow.
to play it though.
Okay, we're gonna
Unless it was like a port of Superman 64 or something.
No. This would have been a little bit before
Let's
that.
hope not.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
He also gives a shout out to Primal Rage. You guys
Yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Primal Rage!
No.
The dinosaur and the
Yeah.
ape and
Yeah.
King Kong,
Oh,
man.
remember
Oh, really?
that?
Yeah. No, I
yeah.
do.
Primal
There used to be a
Rage.
video game chain called Microplay in Canada, and it
Yes.
was one of those stores that opened up, and we had one in Guelph, and the staff was always like really cool, and they had Mortal Kombat tournaments and stuff at the time. And I got friendly with the guys because I would just go out and hang out and chat games at a young age. And one of the first gaming posters I ever got was from Microplay's back room. And I was like, do you guys ever have any posters to give away? Like, dude, we have a closet full of fucking posters. So he takes me to the back room. He's like, pick any one you want. And without even seeing it, I picked the biggest fucking thing I could because that's what you do as a kid.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Yeah.
I want
Big.
that.
Yeah.
And it was just this purple rolled up tube. And I was like, I want it. And it was made out of like a rubbery vinyl type thing. It was double sided like a hanging movie poster would be. And I unravel it, and it's basically a 5-foot by 3-foot Primal Rage banner.
Cool.
And it says Primal Rage in the arcade-like titles, and it has the 5 or 6 different heads of like the main guys on top of it. And that was great fucking memories, man.
Yeah.
Primal
Nice.
Rage.
Cool.
Good call out. What else was added there? Tekken 3, TMNT, and Area 51.
Yeah.
I'll get to that.
Area
Oh,
51's
okay,
awesome.
all right. That's a good segue,
Yeah,
John.
there
As
you
you
go.
say, get into it. John,
Boom.
tell me about your arcade experience.
Okay.
Oh wait, right before that, Drew, we're gonna go just a few minutes late. Enjoy another sandwich, and and we'll figure it out. But let us just roll on and finish the conversation here.
Okay, I got a bunch of arcade stories, but I'll try to sum it up. So, mainly grew up in Abbotsford. We had Castle Fun Park. So that wasn't where I started going to arcades, but that was like the local hangout. Right? So we go there all the time, and they had games dating from like the introduction of arcades, like back in the early '80s or mid '80s, I guess, up to whatever was most modern at the mid '90s at the time. So I just play absolutely everything. But the ones that stand out are Metal Slug. I think it was Metal Slug 2.
Yeah.
And I just remember being blown away by how smooth the animation was, and it was really violent.
Yep.
But it was just so smooth and played so well. And my older brother would always kick my ass at X-Men: Children of the Apocalypse, and he read on Wolverine with 1/4.
Wow.
But my favorite arcade memory is playing Area 51 with my dad. And so my dad and I, we always got along, but he was a sports guy and I was a nerdy computer guy. But he was also an RCMP officer when we were growing up.
Yin and yang.
And so he knows how to use a firearm. And so we would
Right.
play Area 51, and he would like try to teach me how to shoot properly. Same with Duck Hunt. But him and I would play Area 51 all the time. We'd beat it all the fucking time. And I forget what the code was, but there was something you could do in the first level that would swap the game where you played as the alien and you were shooting humans.
Cool.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So you could flip the game around. There's a whole second scenario. So we would do that. So him and I would play that all the bloody time. A little bit of Time Killers too. But yeah, Area 51.
And yes, Drew, I am drinking on an empty stomach. Okay, continue, John.
So yeah, so Area 51 was like, out of all the times I went to the arcade as a kid, it was always my favorite time when I would play with Area 51 with my dad.
That's cool.
That was always my favorite.
Fucking right.
And then when I got a little older, Dance Dance Revolution got really huge.
Well, you were,
Yeah.
I could see it now. I was about to ask you in questioningly, like just like you play dance, but then I'm like,
DDR,
wait a
yeah,
minute.
so like I was like,
You're
maybe
probably.
from-
I can imagine you skiing down the hill like it's like dance.
so maybe
dancing.
from like 14 to 16, DDR got really big for me when I was 14 to 16. And so yeah, so the Castle Fun Park got the giant machine with the 2 pads, and so you put your quarters and line up and dance. And I had the pad at home, and it was a hell of a good workout too.
Oh yeah,
It was great.
a very good workout. You're right.
And then I remember, as a little bit older, going to Palladium in Metrotown, and there was like some little Asian chick who was like doing like triple X extreme hard, like with her eyes closed,
Yeah.
and like I can't even think about competing with this.
And then you went
I
home
was,
and practiced.
I thought I was,
practiced.
I thought I
would've loved
was
to watch
okay,
you compete,
and then
though.
she
We would've
slayed
loved to watch
everybody.
you.
I'm like,
We would've loved to watch
All
you
right,
compete.
guys, I'm going to say it right now. Sometime this year, in 2015, I'm going to have John over. We're going to hook up a little Dance Dance Revolution.
Yes.
And we are going to live stream. I'm going to have a live Dance Dance Revolution contest. I'll find the pad, we'll put it down, and we'll have it.
I don't have the pad, but I still have the PS2 game.
Oh, we'll find it. We'll find it. That's a worthy addition to Red Eye Games Live and the Rated M Gaming Network.
Yeah.
Oh,
For anybody
God.
that's just tuning in late, we're nearing the end of the video cast here. We're talking just about growing up as gamers and telling old stories. I'm Rory. I'm hosting. I'm part of the Red Eye. I'm from Red Eye Games Live. I'm part of the Rated M Gaming Network. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, all that such. All those things. Just look up Rated M Gaming, and hopefully it will pop up. But find us on Facebook, especially for the Rated M Gaming Network. It might be under Rated M for Podcasts. It's the 1-year anniversary. 12 hours of streaming. We're having a good time. Drew's getting ready to jump back on, and myself as well. We're going to play some video games with you guys in a little bit, some multiplayer stuff. But we'll take a little break in a little bit. But for now, we'll wrap up. We're talking video games, all that such. Guys, for you watching, we're going to do a little trivia coming up in a couple minutes here. Each of us has got a question to ask each other and to ask you. And the dealio is, if you get more questions right than we do, whichever one of you gets the most of those correct in a sense, right? Whichever one of you out there watching can answer more of the questions than we do first. Like if I see your answer pop up in the Twitch chat, we're disqualified. You're going to win yourself $10 of digital Xbox Live money to put towards whatever. Does PlayStation Network have digital codes?
I'm sure it does.
Yeah,
Do they?
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to do is just go down to my local store and just
Oh, yeah,
buy
you can
$10
buy-
on
yeah,
a
yeah,
digital
yeah.
code.
Yeah, you
and
can
I can
do
do that for PlayStation as well?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Okay,
it
so
does.
then there you go. So it's for PS4 or Xbox One. I will give you, if you win, answer more than us, $10 worth of digital funds to put towards a PlayStation Network or
Just for a
Xbox.
start, Dave's
Yep.
saying my friend lost 30 pounds playing DDR. I lost a bit of weight playing DDR, and I had a couple of friends that did too. So it was definitely
And then-
it was a legit workout.
Did you put them back on? Or
Yeah.
like, okay. All right,
But I'm
guys.
just saying it did. It worked.
All right, guys. We're gonna do some trivia right now for you guys. Thank you for hanging out. It's the 1-year anniversary of Rated M Gaming Network. We're gonna do some trivia again. Just to sum it up, if you get the more questions right than we do, you answer them before we do. Whoever gets the most right is gonna win $10 of digital funds for Xbox Live or PlayStation Network.
Somebody's asking if it could be eShop or Steam codes too. That might be not a bad idea.
If that works, basically, like anything that, like, if I can go to the store or online and just somehow gift you guys $10 digital, it can be for Xbox Live, which I know I can do. PlayStation Network, which these guys have said I can do. It can be for the eShop if that's
Nintendo
possible,
Oh
or
my
it can
God,
be
I love
for
that.
Steam
Oh my
if there's a way I can give you
forgot
guys a
about
Steam $10 gift
Zelda
code.
cartoon.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out, okay, guys? I always come through with my prizes, so we'll figure something out.
Afterburner.
Okay, guys, I have a question for you to start. I'm going to start. You guys have your questions ready? And they're
I'm
for each
ready.
other, and let's see if these guys can get them right before we do, okay?
Okay.
My question to you guys, and I think this is a little bit of a softball, a little slow
Do
pitch.
we just shout out the
Should
answer?
we
You gotta raise
give
your hand.
them a little bit of buffer time because we can answer in real time?
Pretty
They got to
quick.
type that shit.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And there's a little bit of a delay,
Yeah.
so that's the challenge though, because they if they can get it like with a 30-second odd delay,
Right, all right,
and get
okay.
their answer in, because they have to they might Google shit.
Oh,
too,
you're right. You're right. Okay, yeah.
All right.
So it
Fuck you, man. Don't Google.
It actually, it actually really does kind of even the
Even
odds
us out.
because
Okay.
these guys have no preparation. We don't know what we're going to
No.
ask each other, and
Okay.
we can't Google it. You guys can Google it, but
Good
that's
call.
cheating.
Good call.
Okay, so as long as if I see it first in there, that means and we haven't answered by then, it's over.
Okay.
Okay. Here's my question for you guys, and again, it's an easy one, but I thought that when I asked Ed trivia
Gauntlet.
Simpsons questions, it didn't work out.
Great game.
Here's my question, guys. Trivia question number 1. You guys play along with us for a chance to win $10 in digital funds. This Sega CD game was one of the reasons ESRB was created in the first place.
Ah.
John already has his hands
I know the
up.
answer. Do you want me to say?
Sewer shark.
Or wait.
I'm gonna give you 10 seconds because that was so fast
Yeah.
to see, just to give these guys a fair
Wow.
chance because that was fast.
Yeah.
And then maybe you got it right, maybe you don't.
Sega Saturn?
He looks so confident.
CD or Saturn?
It became
Sega
available
CD.
on other
Sega CD.
consoles, and
Yeah.
it may have showed up somewhere first, I think. But it was like it's known on Sega CD.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
Nobody, you guys don't have a clue, right? John,
Sewer
here's your
shark.
go.
Night
Go.
Trap.
Night Trap.
To be fair,
Wait, did I wait too long?
popped up
they-
right before John
shit!
said, like literally right before. It was bizarre.
Okay, it's okay. So there's not as much of a delay
I
as I
remember
thought
that.
there was
I
going to
remember-
be.
No, not so much.
Okay,
And the reason it was so it
Night
was,
Trap is correct.
It was like an FMV game, and it was
Right.
like scantily clad girls in lingerie getting murdered. It was like a whodunit kind of
Right.
thing.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you know what's
yeah.
fucked up about it though? If you look at it today, it's
pretty
not,
tame,
It's
yeah.
very tame, and it's not even really about them being murdered. It's about like aliens arriving to kidnap them, and they're not even that scantily clad.
Really?
There's no nudity. There's no real violence per se on screen. It was just at the
Yeah.
time, like it is today, and you know, government officials jump on shit. It was just it came out with Mortal Kombat, and they were just
Right.
like, wait a minute, girls in pajamas being kidnapped by aliens, and it's alluded to
Right.
that they might be kidnapped. And what does that mean? Are they raped
Yeah.
too? it's like
Also,
right?
I'm not
Sick
100%
minds of
sure,
people, sick minds.
but I think it was a Hideo Kojima game.
Ooh, I would
Really?
say it wasn't.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but there was.
Silent Hills.
You might be thinking of maybe there was Snatcher.
That's it. Snatcher
yeah.
was him. Okay, never mind. Okay, but yeah, Night Trap.
There you go. But guess what? Because I delayed a little bit, but John, you got it. But I'm going to be fair here, and we're going to give it. Who got that one first? That was
Looks like
Admiral.
Admiral got
Some
it.
guy, Admiral. Fuck you, Dave. He's always winning my trivias.
Was that Dave?
Yeah, Dave was the first guy to get it. So Dave's got a point right now. Okay, guys.
Damn you, Dave.
Let's mix up the order. John, let's hear your trivia for the group and for the chat. And now there is no delay because fucking
Okay.
Dave's sitting there with
And he's on it. He's on it.
lightning fast. So guys, give
We
Dave
gave him
a
a good break of time, though, to be fair.
we gave him way too much time.
Yeah.
We gave him way too much time. But
We
we're
don't
not,
want you to win.
We're not gonna fuck that up anymore. No, I purposely sabotaged Dave numerous times on the screen because he's won too many prizes. Okay, John, let's hear your trivia for the group.
There's kind of a long answer, but it's
Oh, well, it's a kind of a long answer.
Wait, one question.
there can be. Okay, so do you guys remember Civilization?
Oh,
The
yeah.
PC game?
okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna get
Okay.
this.
PC.
For PC. So
Nerd!
this happened in the first game, and they carried it forward with the rest. But why was Gandhi always an aggressive asshole in Civilization?
His wife cheated on him.
He's not supposed to be. But why was Gandhi, who was like leader of the Indian civilization in the game,
Yeah.
why was he always an aggressive asshole?
Full disclosure, I remember I never played it. I just
I'm
saw
out.
a lot of my cousins and my
I don't
brother
remember him
play
being
it.
aggressive.
Oh, I remember that.
I didn't know Gandhi was in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he shouldn't be, first off, because that makes no sense.
That's exactly right.
So that's why, because it makes no sense?
No.
No,
Yeah, okay.
no, it's not. There's a reason.
Vanguard, you were close. Mortal Kombat was one of the games for sure.
Is it because Genghis Khan was picking on him or something like that? Or?
No.
Okay. I know it's really big.
Is it because he was hungry? That's why. That's why. He was hungry. He was hungry.
Gandhi was hangry.
Yeah, he was
Why isn't there a
Gandhi was
subway
hangry.
around?
Yeah. So I remember. Okay, I'll get the answer. So I remember.
Wait,
playing-
hang on. Let's see. Anybody got it? LOL,
That's
that
a
was me.
spirit.
We're looking at
You
the
gotta go
twig.
back. Oh.
Number 2, it was a bug. Nope, nobody's got it yet.
Was not right.
He's pretty much right.
What? It was a bug?
Yeah.
It was a bug!
Oh,
fire!
Fuck you, Dave!
Dave is winning again.
Dave! You owe me some Taco Bell!
Dave, the pirate ad.
I want some Taco Bell from you, Dave!
Alright,
That
so
20
here's the
bucks
thing.
you're getting.
So in the game, all the leaders, or every civilization, was given an aggression rating from 0 to 255. With 255 being we'll nuke you, 0 being hippies and flowers and all that
Right.
jazz. So Gandhi, being passive aggressive, or just pacifist, sorry,
Pacifist,
was his aggression rating was 1.
Okay.
But in the game, when you change your type of government to democracy, it lowers your aggression rating by 2.
I
But
see.
the game had a bug where you couldn't have a -1 aggression rating. So when you went below 0, it just flipped you right back around to 255.
Ah.
So as soon as the Indians went democratic, Gandhi would just start nuking everybody. And I remember as a kid playing this game and wondering, like, why is I thought Gandhi was nice to people. Why is he like attacking me all the time?
He's literally dropping nukes down.
Yeah, literally. And then it was because like if you played the game a certain way and he became too nice, he would become super aggressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
And
can't
so
let
that
Gandhi
was-
become too nice.
and that was
He needs
a-
a balance.
So that was a bug in Civilization 1, and they kind of made it like an Easter egg joke and carried something like that forward in all the other games.
Very
I gotta
cool.
say, Dave, well done, man.
I know.
That's a hard
I
question.
That's a
know.
very hard question.
That's a hard question.
Damn, I might have to cut the time limit down. Fucking Dave. Let's try and bend the rules so we can't win it anymore. Holy shit.
All right.
Okay,
Ed.
guys. Question number 3. Ed, yeah, let's go over and reverse
All
order
right.
on the couch here.
All right.
Ed, what do you got for us? So far, we're 2-0 as a group, guys. The chat has beat us. Technically, John was right on there, but we gave that one to Dave. I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give him a quick
Take it
time
back.
there. And it was literally like a second before.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. My question is, there'd be two answers to this, but I'm looking for the big mainstream game. I think there's another argument to this question, but I think you guys know what I'm looking for. It's an arcane game to give you a hint.
Mumble.
This says I don't even need the code.
When was the first Star Wars game released, and what sequence did it focus on?
Ooh, ask it
I know
again.
the second
Ask it again.
When was the first Star Wars game released, and what sequence did it focus on?
I know the second part. I don't know the first part.
And that's the tricky one.
The exact year.
What was the first Star Wars game released, and what was the first?
When was it?
When was it released, and what was the first
And what
sequence?
was the-
It's a two-parter.
No. What was the not first? What was the only sequence it focused on?
Oh, I don't remember it being the only.
It's the only sequence, sir.
Over and over and
Can I
over
guess
again.
or are we
waiting? Can I guess or are we waiting?
No, don't- no waiting,
Destroying
go.
the Death Star.
But what? Yes, but what is that?
Describe the game real quick. Yeah, what
Was
game
it was it 84 and the trench run?
No, very close though.
Okay.
That's my
was-
guess.
You were.
You
it
can
was
vote
flying.
and guess.
It was flying, was it
Yes,
not? You were
yes.
flying. Okay, so
Don't let Dave get
Yeah,
this.
it
Spit
was-
out more. Keep guessing.
I just
It
don't know
was
the
a
year.
PC game, right?
No,
it's
Okay.
arcade.
Arcade.
Okay, I don't know
Yeah.
that.
And it's like battle. It was like
what
vector
is it?
graphics,
Yes.
screen
Yes.
lines.
The whole
Okay.
cabinet thing.
Oh man, I think we got to give that to John, man. I don't know. It's like you're
He hasn't-
still the year.
he hasn't got the right
You're
year.
right. Well, these guys. Rance is saying it was released in 1983. Death Star, but we'll count that.
I'll count that.
Oh wait! Admiral said number 3, Death Star Trench Run 80. Damn it!
Oh, he got it! Dave got it
Admiral
again!
was in right before.
Wait,
it was
Rogue
Rogue
Leader on GameCube. Really?
What?
It was packed in with Rogue Leader.
Oh, that's awesome!
way.
What?
No, guys.
I don't know.
Hang on a second here.
We gotta
If we are, we're playing that.
Hang on.
Yeah, we gotta scope this out
We
later.
can confirm this right now, guys. I have
It
in
has
front of
one.
me Star Wars Rogue Leader 1 and 2, Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, and Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike. Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron. Does
It must have been like an Easter egg or something.
awesome cinematic graphics. Be Luke Skywalker, 11 plus.
Dave's saying
Always
it's a
wanted to be
pre-order
Luke
bonus.
Skywalker.
Oh, that's too bad.
A pre-order bonus on a
Back in- I
GameCube
was gonna
game?
say.
What the fuck are you
Dave,
talking about?
I can guarantee you will not get my question.
Oh my god, the Lynx! You guys remember the Lynx?
Oh,
the handheld
fuck
Jaguar?
Yeah.
I think they just showed every game they ever made
Yeah,
for
exactly.
it there.
Holy shit.
Wow, Dave.
All
And
right.
That was exactly the right wording I was looking for. Death Star.
All right.
That's-
Yeah.
Dave.
83, nailed it.
Dave,
83.
fuck you. Okay, guys, just to throw, here we go, guys. Just to try and throw Dave under the bus and fuck him over. This final question from Jez is worth 4 points.
Yeah, it's with the most points.
Okay.
Dave's just
And
throwing
Dave can't
his
answer.
mouse at his
Dave's
board.
got 3 so far. This
Wow.
final question is worth 4 points. Answer it before Dave does or we do, and you'll win yourself $10 in digital funds, at least for Xbox Live for sure, or PlayStation. And if I can do it for Nintendo eShop and Steam, I will gift you $10 digital for that, if that's your choice. If I can do
commercial
it.
is
We'll figure out a prize. Okay, Jez. Final question. Question number 4. Worth 4 points.
Whoa.
I'm gonna do a throwback to the Turbo Graphics because it was
Wow.
my,
Nice.
it was my
Alright.
fucking.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, like it.
In Bonkers, where did you fight the final boss?
I got nothing.
Wow.
Not me.
Good question.
I played the game. I can't even tell you where.
You had
Yeah, but you didn't make it past first level. I never made it past first level.
Yeah, you had to be-
Wait, I'm supposed to use my head to break stuff?
I gotta climb with my teeth.
What?
Fuck, I love that, man. You grab the thing and just tap it.
It's like-
Oh man, that game is so awesome.
Holy
Anyway.
shit.
Dave's
No
gonna go
one's
watch his
gonna get
cat.
Dave, you can't Google it.
I'm gonna watch my cat now. Let's see if somebody gets it. Let's see if somebody gets this first.
I'd be impressed if someone got this. Good range of questions, guys. Bonks.
As we wait for an answer, because I don't have it. So
No,
I just
no, I've
basically I'm just like waiting for somebody to
I've
beat
never-
Admiral.
I've
I'm
never
gonna
played
say.
it. I've seen people play
I'm
it.
gonna guess. I know that game. I'm gonna say it's on top of a volcano.
Maybe a cave.
No.
Okay, well, you're looking at me as if I got some kind of guess. I didn't really play Bonks to the end either. I'm going to say it was on the back of a dinosaur.
No.
Okay,
It
fine.
was a caveman one, right? You had a
No.
club.
Okay, it was a
Yeah.
grassy knoll.
No.
Desert Island.
Bone graveyard.
No. But the
Oh,
volcano
that-
thing was kind of
That's what I-
kind of close.
That's what I thought.
What was close?
The volcano thing, but it ain't.
Mountain? Volcano?
No.
Lava stream.
No one got it. They're all
No.
good. Okay.
I know they're all googling right now. Nobody's getting it. Okay, guys. While they're looking up an answer to see if they can.
Somebody
dethrone
says
Dave here.
island.
Island. That's so generic. The whole game is on
I was
island.
gonna say.
I mean, I can't.
With the palm tree.
Okay. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, but,
He's
but
looking at Google images
I
right
said-
now.
oh, there we
the
go.
island.
Dave got
The
it.
moon.
Dave got it.
No!
Oh. It's like a moon island. It's a moon island.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dave.
So the first one was so close, but you can't just say island. It has to be because it is the whole game. He's up there.
Yeah.
He's looking at your ass, just ready to
Oh,
get you.
shit.
And you finally get up to him, and it's like throw down. There is a palm tree. It does look like an island, and that goes back to the dream that I had every night. I had a fucking dream. I was chased by a dragon on that island on the moon, and I would always fall off the bed every. I'd wake up like on the fucking bed.
Look
off
at
the
his
bed.
face right now. It's like,
I played that
I
game
can't
so
believe
much,
what I'm
man.
hearing
Wow.
now.
Damn. Okay.
Holy shit. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Everybody, it's 2:13. We're running 15 minutes late. Drew is going to jump into some gaming if he hasn't already kicked off the channel. We're going to wrap it up real quick by just saying, let's pick a favorite game of all time, guys. Think about that real quick. I'll share mine as well. Guys, thanks for hanging out on Red Eye Games Live. Make sure you're following me on my channel. Also, thanks for tuning into the 1 year anniversary of Rated M for podcast and the Rated M Gaming Network, which I'm part of. That's what this is all about. 12 hours of streaming. We're hitting about hour 6 right now. Right after this, we're going to play some multiplayer games with you guys. I'm going to take a quick short break and join in. And then we're going to do a live recording of Rated M for podcast. So thanks for you guys for tuning in. Thanks for playing the trivia. Dave with 9 fucking points. You got it.
I totally guessed.
That doesn't
He
count.
said he guessed.
It
I just
doesn't
wanna put
matter if he gets. He got it right.
Rancid B should get.
But how is a
That's my
volcano close?
What?
to
You think
the
so?
moon?
Shoot, guys. Okay, guys. This is how we
Okay,
roll on
okay.
Red Eye Games Live, man. Rancid's been tuning in, off and on for a while. He's a familiar name. Dave has won a lot of prizes.
Yes.
I'm gonna leave it up to the vote right now. Show of hands. Who wants to give Rancid Beast the 4 points for Island with a palm tree? Does that even count? No, it doesn't. No, Jen say it doesn't even
Come on.
count. It's not- no, it doesn't count. Sorry, it's not close.
Dave has 7 points.
Dave doesn't even need
He
the.
took your.
Dave said he doesn't even need the.
I know.
notes.
There was 4 questions. You had 7 points because of your last stipulation.
I know exactly. So that's why I was gonna give the other guy the other answer to give it 4-3.
But I mean,
No way.
come on.
No.
Okay, guys. Here's how it is. Admiral, aka Dave, you won fair and square.
Yes.
The prize is yours. If you wish to donate your prize to Rancid, you can. He said he doesn't need it. He said he doesn't need
Who
it.
can't ever use $10?
But do not feel bad about keeping it for yourself. You earned it. Congratulations. But if you wish to donate it, that's acceptable as well.
You know what though? I have a feeling, and granted, chime in if this is right. Did you just Google the final boss? Saw a picture?
It doesn't matter.
No, Rancid.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay, so
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because
All right.
because it does look like an island.
Drew's booting
Right.
over. So what's our favorite game?
Okay, real quick, Drew's booting over. Favorite game, guys, of all time. For me, if I was stuck on a desert island, I may have asked you guys to pick 3, but let's sum it down to 1. If I had to take one game with me, ask me on a different day, it might be slightly different, but today I'm going to pick Super Mario Bros. 3.
All right.
I find it instantly replayable. I never get bored of it. The platforming is phenomenal. The level design is great, and I never get tired of it. Super Mario Bros. 3 would be my top game as of today. Picking today. John, Ed, Jess, somebody answer.
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono
Good
Trigger.
game. Love that game.
Good pick.
14 endings, unlimited replayability, beautiful storyline, beautiful games, fun. Combat system is so multifaceted and adaptable. It's just
A
great.
Knighted Frog.
Knighted Frog, just great.
Love it. Great
That's
answer. Ed, you got a favorite game of all time?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously hard. There's a lot of options. I definitely gotta go PS2, and I was thinking of maybe Gran Turismo 3, but I'm gonna go with. I really loved the first Jak and Daxter. Jak and Daxter, the Precursor
Okay.
Legacy. Beautiful looking game. The scope of range, you could see the whole island.
Yeah,
just
it was
looks-
really known for that viewing distance.
Yes,
Like,
the draw distance was ridiculous. It looked gorgeous. It was like Mario but different. It had so much detail. great different game. I still love that game to this day.
Good choice. Jez, what do you got? Pick a game.
So hard.
It's so hard. There's so much out there. It's Bog's Adventures for Neo
No,
Geo.
yeah, back
Or
to
TurboGrafx.
No, huge shout out to Metal Gear for the PlayStation. Fucking great game.
Yes.
That isn't my pick though.
Oh!
It's not my pick. I have to say, and this is crazy, but I absolutely love what Naughty Dog did with The Last of Us. That game,
yeah.
not only is the online just incredible and something different, but the storyline, the cinematics, and the gameplay combined, beautiful game, looks amazing.
All right.
My favorite game of all time.
Love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fucking great talk, guys. It's been awesome hanging out with you guys. For you guys watching, you're either watching on the Red Eye Games live channel, follow it if you're not, or you're tuned into Rated M for Podcast channel. It's our 1 year anniversary, 12 years of streaming. We're hitting hour 6, I think, roughly. You've been tuning into Growing Up as Gamers, a fun one-off this Sunday. If you want to see more of this, so let me know, and I'll get these guys over, or a rotating guest, and we'll talk about games whenever we can. Thank you for hanging out. Continue watching the Rated M for Podcast channel. Drew's about to jump online with some games. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining me. Jez,
Thanks for having us,
Ed,
man.
John.
Thanks for having me.
Fucking
Yeah,
video
it was fun.
games rule,
That was
right?
fun.
It was fun,
definitely.
man.
Damn straight.
And thank you all for tuning in. I'm sorry I was a little delayed on the chat, but it's tough. It's a tough thing. Monitoring all this
It's
stuff.
okay.
You get nerdy
Hard
out.
work.
Thanks for hanging out,
Kudos
guys.
to this guy, man. Follow him.
Follow it. Twitter at Red Eye Games Live. Follow the Twitch. Hit the follow button. And definitely check out Rated M for Podcast. Check out the whole Rated M Gaming Network on Facebook. We've got a pregame sports video game podcast. We do a podcast that's all about the Division. We've got a Halo podcast called Podcast Evolved, which is really taking off. And we've got, there's other shit going on as well. We got Gaming on Thrones, another group of guys doing an awesome general gaming video game podcast. So...
Cool.
Right on, man.
Rated M Gaming Network, celebrating its 1 year today. Thanks for hanging out. You guys, thanks for hanging out in the Twitch chat. And until next time, game on. Say goodbye, guys.
Catch you later.
See you later, dudes and ladies.
Yeah, mostly dudes, though.
Yeah.
Dudes and ladies.
I know, I almost didn't say ladies, but...
Yeah, almost. All right, later, everybody.
Hey, we like ladies.
Some of us do.